Hello friends, welcome to the April reading wrap-up. I just spent the past 20 minutes trying to figure out where to look on the stupid iPhone because there's 3 cameras. You would think one of them would be where you should look, but no, it's actually just a random place on your phone. Anyways, we're going to be talking about all the books that I read in the month of April. First off, we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It's about Monique Grant, kind of a journalist in her mid-30s who gets like a rare opportunity to do this tell-all with the elusive old Hollywood starlet Evelyn Hugo. There's kind of a mystery also as to like why she chose Monique Grant, because it's not like she's like the best journalist to ever live. It's not like she's super famous or anything. Really not much else to say about that. I think you would like this book if you like obviously Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you like her other books, I think you should obviously give this one a try. If you like the old Hollywood aesthetic, I think you'd like this also if you're like post breakup, divorce, and like want a book that's gonna make you feel better about it. Like it definitely like feels peaceful in the aspect of like relationships ending, because so many of hers do end. I will say that I don't think you'll like this book if you don't like the interview style of Taylor Jenkins Reid. I didn't know that this was also like an interview style because I read Daisy Jones first and then I read this one. Like I was like, damn, I didn't realize how much Taylor Jenkins Reid loves this interview thing or like this biography style of fictional characters. Yeah, I wasn't like crazy about that, but I wasn't like hate. If you need something more plot driven, probably not for you. If you're sensitive about POC LGBTQ representation, like it's really important to you that the author themselves also deals with these things, because Taylor Jenkins Reid is white and straight, so her writing about people of color and that are part of the LGBTQ plus community may not be like people's favorite thing. That's just what I saw a lot of on the low star reviews of this book. I do think this book is very good. I think it's very well written. I think the characters are really complex. I also don't really have any notes for this book. Like there's nothing really I would change. I just think I'm just not really a fan of that whole interview style, because I'm just kind of like, okay, wait, why should I care about this? It's not like I've watched all of her movies growing up and I'm like, oh, I just want to know more about her. Like she's not real. So yeah, gave this book 4 stars. I think I gave it 4.5 actually on Goodreads. Let's just segue into Daisy Jones. I obviously probably should have said Daisy Jones first because I did read that one before I read Evelyn Hugo. Daisy Jones and the Six is essentially a documentary on a fake band in the late 1970s, heavily inspired by Fleetwood Mac. It takes place from like the formation of the band and then ends with the breaking up of the band. And the whole like motivation of the story is like, oh, why did they break up? I think you would like this book if you have like a 70s rock band fantasy. If you're interested in like the creative process of music, it focuses a lot on like how they made the music, things that inspired their music. You'll like this if you like when authors are able to write distinct character voices, but I may be biased because I did listen to the audiobook. This audiobook is fantastic. Sometimes you're kind of like, oh, this band isn't real, because it does feel like very realistic. If you like when books explore complicated relationships, I think you'll like this also if you like an unreliable narrator. Like you're just getting them recounting things that happened like 40 years ago, and so like obviously things aren't going to be like exactly true how they remember them, and that's interesting. I don't think you would like this book, like I said, if an oral history of a band that is fictional doesn't really make sense to you. Trust me, I get it truly, because it is a little like, why? And I did like 7 Husbands more than Daisy Jones. I did listen to them both on audiobook, and I kind of also have a theory that has broken my connection a little bit, because whenever I'm reading a book physically, I'm like in my own head saying these things to myself, so I think that alone just kind of pushes me out of it, but who's to say? We'll never know. Another book that I read this month, a new release, is Emily Henry's book, A Funny Story. Daphne, she is dating this guy. Then he cheats on her with his childhood best friend. They break up. Daphne, in her tizzy, goes to ex-boyfriend of said childhood best friend and is like, hey, can I live with you? Because she's currently living in her fiance's house. So her and Miles, the ex-boyfriend of childhood best friend, live together.
And, you know, they're both dealing with their breakups. And I think you can guess what comes next, you know, truly. I saw a lot of people relating Miles to Nick from New Girl. Personally, I just don't really get that. I'm getting like way more Carmy vibes generally. But maybe it's a mix, you know, like he's not as serious as Carmy, but he's not as silly goofy as Nick. Like he's a healthy blend. So if you've ever had any crush of any sort on either of those characters, I think you'll like this. I think obviously you'll like this if you like the fake dating trope. If you like forced proximity, they are roommates. They do fake date. I don't really think that's like a spoiler, happens like first 10 seconds. I think you'll like this if you have mommy or daddy issues. This is for the mommy daddy issues people. The cynical, lonely, uptight, who likes control, those bitches. That is who this is for. Obviously I think you'll like this if you like other Emily Henry books. Not much else to say about that. Don't think you would like this book if you need some really well-developed characters. Okay, the only other Emily Henry book I've read is Beach Read. I thought those characters are fantastic. Very well thought out. All their actions made sense. These, like, could have been a little better, all things considered. I don't know what it was. This book could have hit so hard for me, but it just didn't, like, hit, you know? The recipe was all there. So, like, why didn't this just, like, absolutely wreck me? I just don't think it's quite as good as Beach Read, objectively. All right, next I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy. For this explanation of this book, I literally have to read the Goodreads synopsis because I think it does it best, and I was trying to write my own to be original. Can't. So yeah, we're just going to read this, and I'm literally just going to look over here because I cannot memorize this. I'm not an actress, sorry. Surrounded by enemies, the once great nation of Ravka has been torn in two by the Shadowfold, a swath of near impenetrable darkness crawling with monsters who feast on human flesh. Alina Starkov has never been good at anything, but when her regiment is attacked on the Fold and her best friend is brutally injured, Alina reveals a dormant power that saves his life, a power that could be the key to setting her war-ravaged country free. Wrenched from everything she knows, Alina is whisked away to the royal court to be trained as a member of the Grisha, the magical elite led by the mysterious Darkling. Yet nothing in this lavish world is what it seems. With darkness looming and an entire kingdom depending on her untamed power, Alina will have to confront the secrets of the Grisha and the secrets of her heart. So yeah, that's what Shadow and Bone is about. This trilogy wasn't amazing to me, and I'm not really sure it would be amazing to anybody unless you have some nostalgia factor or you are a part of the YA age group. But I do think you would like it if you like a well thought out magic system. This magic system kind of slaps. It's an elemental magic system. So like people have specific elemental powers like wind, fire, water. No. See, how much do I even literally remember? You like war politics in fantasy novels. That to me, that is a sweet spot. I love some political motivations. I love some high stakes, and the high stakes being the country. You like friends to lovers. Ooh, this to me tough. I'm not a friends to lovers girl. You like a chosen one trope. Do love that personally. And last but not least, if you like adventure quest novels, I love a book where they're setting to go out to do something to accomplish a certain goal. I just like those. Probably why I like a lot of YA, because it's all quest driven. I don't think you would like this if you're expecting something super sophisticated, like the most sophisticated fantasy you've ever seen. Can't say it's this. Can't say that. This one kind of also goes with it, but number 2 is if you like a novel that is more focused in what it's trying to do or say. This one has a wandering problem, I think. Like, it doesn't focus on the politics really hard. It doesn't focus on the romance really hard. So, yeah, that can either make it well-rounded or kind of meandering. Meandering? Is that the right word? What does meander mean? Meandering. A winding course. Yep. Okay, great. Yeah, I don't know if that makes it well-rounded or like more just like meandering around and like not really committing. Ooh, this was a lot of the things I saw on the lower ratings of this book was if you are Russian, speak Russian, familiar with Russian culture, or you just don't like the idea of an author like kind of misusing Russian language or just not being very thoughtful about the Russian influences that this book has. She says it's like inspired by Russia, but it's like kind of just about it. Like it's pretty spot on, I would say. So if that is struggle for you, I would not recommend you read this because this book will make you very angry, probably. Like it made the other people who gave it low ratings. Next, we have Red Rising. Yes. Oh, I actually wrote a little synopsis for this one, but you know, this one is a little bit longer, so I'm going to have to read it. I'm so sorry. Red Rising is a dystopian novel that's set so far ahead in the future that it's kind of like a sci-fi fantasy. Like, it's so far ahead, it's not even this world anymore, really. They're not even on Earth. The world is now divided into a color-coded caste system. And our main character, Darrow, he is a red, which is like the bottom of the barrel. The reds are miners, and they mine helium-3, which is essentially like coal, kind of. Because it's like an energy source, they use it to power a lot of things, but it's all for the wealthy. Duh. The reds are all under the impression that they are mining so that the Mars surface can be inhabitable for people in the future. So they tell them that because obviously who wants to know that they're a slave for the ruling class? The answer is nobody. You know, obviously, surface of Mars is actually already habitable. Darrow's wife finds this out. Ooh, not good. She takes him to the surface. He's like shook. Then she gets caught, is killed. Darrow is kind of like, no, Darrow's really sad. He's really sad. So the secret group captures him and is engineered into a gold, which is like the top of the tippy top. And so now he's going to infiltrate the institute, which is kind of like a gold school elite. Like, have to get accepted. You have to be super to get in. So he's like fueled by revenge, a need for justice, make people pay for his wife's death. This feels like a lot of spoilers, but literally, if I did know those things, it would be so much easier for me to have gotten past like the lull part of this book. The first part is so tough to get into, but once you get to like the metamorphosis time where he's turning red to gold, to me, that's when it started picking up. And it got a lot more enjoyable. So do with that what you will. It does say this in the back of the book, just in not so many words. I think you'll like this book if you love an eat the rich vibe. Love that. Incredible. What else do I have to say about that? Genuinely. If you're an Aries, I think you'll like this. This is just a very Aries book. No other way to put it. It's justice. It is revenge. It is rage. It is defending your loved ones. It is gore. Not that that's an Aries thing, but there's a lot of gore in this. Surprising amount of gore. Competition. Oh my God. It's literally got everything. It is like Aries candy. If you love when characters have an internal struggle, love that. That is this book. You love high stakes. This is the highest stakes ever known to man. If you liked the Hunger Games, you will like this. Specifically, the parts in Hunger Games where you've got the political motivation, the competition aspect of the games in general. Just a lot of those similar themes. You won't like this book if you need a deep understanding of what is happening at all times. There were a lot of times during this book when I was like, I literally don't think I know what's going on, but I'm just going to go along with it and enjoy the ride. It was hard though. I don't know if I'm just an idiot. It's very possible. There's just so much information. I was like, there's no possible way I could comprehend every single bit of this and then also use my big brain moves. And I feel like I use big brain in reading, but this one is like maybe too big brain for me. Don't think you'll like it. Also, if you just don't like a slow burn. Me personally, I am okay with a slow burn if I feel adequately rewarded for my hard work at the end. Like if it was worth it and there's like a juicy, great payoff, I'm like, that was fine. I'll take that. But yeah, if you need to know absolutely what is happening at all times,
I still think you would like it because it's just really good. It's just really good. Oh, I actually didn't look at the low star ratings on this one. Let's do that really fast. I did have Red Rising in the stack, but it was not going with the vibes. So we had to take it away. Duh. Anything for the vibes. Oh, shit. 2 stars. Let's see what they got going on. I gotta... I'll put this... I'll put this in the... Over there. I'll show you. A lot of people are saying it's really boring. Can totally see that. For sure. For sure. A lot of it was really boring. The writing style is hard to understand, hard to get into. A lot of the main character is pretty plain, boring, common. You know, like, I get it. I do, truly. And that brings us to our next book, which is The Vanishing Half. Cover, beautiful, just beautiful cover. Look at that. It's incredible. I will say that is the only reason why I was really wanting to read this book. I also thought the premise was really interesting, but I was also misled slightly. The Vanishing Half is about twin girls who grow up in a small southern black community who run away at the age of 16. The twins get separated somehow, and it flash forwards to the future with one twin coming back to the hometown with her child. One twin lives her life passing as white, so she like lives the life of a white person, and then the other twin lives her life as a black woman. She marries a black man, and her child is like really black. They talk about that a lot. And the white passing twin marries a white guy, and then her daughter's like blonde. So I think you'll like this book if you like books that explore racism, generational trauma, racism throughout generations. If you like historical fiction and are interested in exploring what life was like during that time period, also, I think you'll like this. If you like to chew on books, like if you, not literally, just... like if you like to sit and ponder books, maybe this is a book to read like over a really long period of time. Not bingeable. No. I don't think you will like this book if you think it's a mystery, which is what I thought. No, it is not a mystery at all. Not even a little bit, really. Like, it's called The Vanishing Half, which is I think why I was like, oh, it's about the half that vanished and then they're gonna find her. But no, it is not. Also, I don't think you'll like this if you like when books explore themes and then has something to say about them. This book brings up a lot of really interesting questions, but fails to answer any of them to me, which that's not bad necessarily. It's just a matter of preference. For me personally, I like when books bring up questions and then provides somewhat of an answer to them, or provides multiple answers for you to think about. But this one, it kind of just provides the questions and kind of leaves it at that. So, speaking of slow burns from Red Rising, don't read this one either. To me, this slow burn was not even worth the payoff. Whereas like it's almost there, but not quite. So, all right, this is our last book series. So I also read all of the Heartstopper books. I'm going to read this Goodreads synopsis again from the computer. Again, can't recite things. Charlie, a highly strung, openly gay overthinker, and Nick, a cheerful, soft-hearted rugby player, meet at a British all-boys grammar school. Friendship blooms quickly, but could there be something more? What do you think? That's the cover, okay? Like, we know what's happening. Charlie Spring is in year 10 at Truham Grammar School for Boys. The past year hasn't been too great, but at least he's not being bullied anymore. Nick Nelson is in year 11 and on the school rugby team. He's heard a little about Charlie, the kid who was outed last year and bullied for a few months, but he's never had the opportunity to talk to him. They quickly become friends, and soon Charlie's falling hard for Nick, even though he doesn't think he has a chance. But love works in surprising ways, and sometimes good things are waiting just around the corner. So sweet, so cute, so good. I think you would like this book if you love high school romance. Sue me. I love that genre. I just think high school, such a magical time. So raw, so vulnerable, stepping into yourself for the first time, figuring out who you are. It's awkward. It's clumsy. It's just, it is so good. So yeah, if you like a high school romance, this is for you. Oh, also, one thing that I just love is the high school, like the anticipation of seeing your crush at school and like getting excited that something cute could happen when you go to school. Love that. Obsessed with that. So good. This has that vibe. So yeah, if you like that, if you like this book, if you want a little kick your feet in the air, cute story, you'll like this. You'll love it. It'll scratch that itch for you for sure. If you're in a reading slump and you just need to finish a book, like seriously, you could crank these out in like a couple hours, maybe 3 hours, perhaps 2.5. If you're behind in your reading goal, because here's 5. I think you'll also like this if you love Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the movie. This may just be because it is literally a graphic novel, but this felt very Scott Pilgrim to me. Like, it's got Aubrey Plaza's kind of character. She's kind of acts as Charlie's sister. Like, the awkwardness of Scott Pilgrim. I don't know. It's just got Scott Pilgrim vibes to me. I don't know how to explain it other than that. I don't think you'll like Heartstopper. I did read the negative reviews in this series. A lot of people's concerns were that it is too sweet, not real enough. Like, it's just too happy. It's suspiciously happy. It's like, but as the series progresses, they definitely deal with some sad things. So don't knock the first one just quite yet if you think it's too sweet, because things happen. If you don't like graphic novels in general, I don't think you'll like this. Some people, they're just not willing to try a different medium of books. That's fine. If you don't like predictable, tropey, cliche book, if you like to feel surprised when things happen, and that is really important to you. Oh, also, if you read a lot of graphic novels and the art and quality of the art in graphic novels is really important to you, I don't think you'll like this as much, simply because the art is a little sketchy. It's a little like messy. It's not the greatest. It does improve a little bit as the series goes on, but I want to say the art is like really good. This is another Taylor Jenkins Reid type sitch where I don't think you'll like it if you don't like when straight authors talk about LGBTQ plus relationships. Oh, I need to add something to this. Literally every single character in this book is LGBTQ plus. It's actually kind of comical how like there is actually I can't even think of one straight character in this book actually. Like they are literally they're all. So yeah, if you don't like when straight authors write about those relationships, understandable. Don't read this. It is tropey, predictable, cliche. Never said it wasn't, but it is just like a lot of fun and it's just cute and sweet. And sometimes, the world gives us enough terribleness to where sometimes you just need to read a cute happy. If you don't want a cute happy, don't read these. So yeah, those are all the books I read in April. Crazy. It's May 11th. I'm pretty late. I actually have no idea how people crank these out so fast.